I was in the United States Marine Corps from February of '54 to February of '57. I was in the States during this time. I had a hard time getting in the military. I was 17 years old, and my mother didn't want to sign for me because she wanted me to finish high school. And so I told her that I would go ahead and join the reserves. And when I went over there, the papers for signing reserves is almost the same papers as filling out for the regular military. So when I bring them back home, I told her she had to sign them, so I could be in the reserves. Well, when she signed them, then I told her it was for the regular military. Well, she was kind of upset, but she decided to go ahead and let me go. So I dropped out of high school on a Friday. On Saturday, I was on a train headed for Parris Island, and I took my training down there. We had all the advanced training because we were supposed to go into Korea, and so all the hand-held weapons and mortars and every type of thing that they had, we were all familiarized with, and all types of demolition, all kinds of hand-to-hand combat. All of that stuff was for our advanced training for going in. And but when we got ready to graduate from boot camp, they decided that they would disperse us in the States. And so they didn't know really what to do with us, so they just sent us in different places. They sent me to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And while I was there, they were trying to figure out where to put me, so they had me in heavy equipment. And so they decided they had enough people in that, so they finally decided to send me to Cherry Point, North Carolina, which was the air wing. And I went up there and would give them driver's license for military vehicles and everything that they had, the different types of mules that they towed planes on the airstrips with, and the cranes for lifting aircraft and stuff like that. So all of that stuff I was training the different ones that drive. Then they put me in a motor transport outfit, which was for refueling and defueling aircraft. And so they decided they had enough people in there after a few weeks, and they finally wound me up in guard duty. And every month they would have a sheet, a roster that you'd sign up for different places to go. And they had for embassy duty in Moscow and any place in the world. I signed up for everything they had, and even had some for ships, for those that were signed up to go on the ships for the expert riflemen, which I was in the military, and I won a radio for the highest platoon shooter in my platoon. And so any of the expert riflemen, they would send to a rifle squad that the Marine Corps had, and they would go all over the country, showing expedition for shooting. And so I didn't quite qualify for that, but there were some good shooters in that. And so they put me in the guard duty, and we would have a roving patrol around the special weapons part on the air wing base. They had a double barbed wire fence with dogs and stuff, and they had all type of advanced kind of weapons in there. We weren't even allowed to go in there. And that's mainly what my final duties were when I was in the Marine Corps. In squad leading, in the platoon, we had different tournaments that we would match up against other platoons, and for some reason they always put me in the front in the boxing matches and the fighting and stuff. I don't know why, but anyhow, I always wound up in the fights, the different ones. And on the weekends we would have, when we got out of boot camp, they would have boxing matches and stuff, and they would pay $5 for the loser and $10 for the winner. Of course, we didn't get much money back then, so $5 was still a lot of money. So I'd climb the ring for about 3 rounds and fight there for and I'd get my $5 or $10, whatever I got, and go out and spend it out on the town.
Yeah.
Well, I got married about 6 months before I got out of the service. My wife, when I was stationed in North Carolina, I met her in North Carolina. Met her in church, matter of fact. And, I didn't go to church much back then. But anyhow, we met some girls there, and we were looking to meet some girls, and they invited us to go to a revival. So we went to the revival, and that's where I met my wife at the church. She was singing church choir. And so we've been married about 53 years now. Well, from Parris Island, South Carolina, and North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, both of those.
Yeah.
And then we would go and with our trucking, refueling, defueling, we'd go to Camp Lejeune for a lot of the different types of landing barges they would have. You know, they'd have things that they would do, and we'd have to refuel them up and pull stuff off the beaches that get stuck in the sand and stuff like that. So that was part of it.